guys, welcome back to another GCSE revision video. Now guys, what Mr. Salles and I want to do is to go over what you should expect and how you should approach Section A in language paper 2 exams. And because we have a tendency to waffle because we are English teachers after all and we love our subject, what we're going to try and do is a slightly different challenge for this lesson. We are going to summarize what you should expect for Section A in language paper 2 in 3 minutes. So we're going to begin by me being challenged by Mr. Salles to summarize Section A for language paper 2 in just 3 minutes. And remember guys that our approaches are different, so of course in these summaries that we go over you will see how you can approach language paper 2 from the first rate tutor's perspective and the Mr. Salles perspective.
We're ready. I'll start when you start.
Okay, so when it comes to language paper 2 section 8, remember that you've got 4 questions in total. Starting with question number 1. What you should expect with this question, you're always asked to look at the first paragraph or maybe the first 2 paragraphs, but usually the first paragraph, and then you find 4 statements that are true. Always see this question as a gift from the examiners. They just want you to walk away with at least 4 marks in this question. The only way to fail in this question is to select information that's outside the line numbers. Then for question number 2, when it comes to language paper 2, this is your first comparison question. This is a summary that you need to write when you are looking at both sources. You're always asked to talk about something quite thematic that is explored in both source A and source B, because remember that there's always an overall theme. For this question, you need to be able to write at least 1 chunky comparison paragraph talking about differences or similarities between source A and source B. And obviously, if you want to know what a full mark 1 single paragraph looks like for answering question number 2 in section A of language paper 2, just join in my GCSE Sunday masterclasses every single week at 5 to 6 p.m. We answer a past AQA question and you see what a grade 9 model response looks like. Now for question number 3. This question is exactly the same as question 2 in language paper 1. It is the language question. You're asked to look at one of the sources and talk about how the writer uses language in a specific set of lines. For this question, you need to aim to write at least 2 to 3 pill paragraphs talking about the sources and talking about language techniques. Make sure you don't mention structure because that means you lose AO2 marks, okay? That's subject terminology. Now finally, question number 4. This question is the second comparison question, but you cannot recycle the same things from question 2 because this is the writer's viewpoints and perspectives. As this question is worth 16 marks and you've got to talk about similarities or differences between both writer's viewpoints and perspectives, for this question you need to write at least 2, if not 3, chunky comparison paragraphs talking about the differences or similarities in viewpoints and perspectives, mentioning terminology, so language and structure, and also inferring, okay? And of course, if you want to see how this looks like in practice, how you can also use grade 9 model answers to revise from this, just literally join in my Sunday GCSE masterclasses at 5 to 6 p.m. We are aiming to get 7s, 8s, and 9s in that class through weekly consistent practice.
Woo! 2 minutes 38 seconds, that's my challenge.
Okay, so waffle-free summary.
I feel
Mr.
naked
Salles.
without my spatula.
Okay, so guys, now Mr. Salles is going to show you his approach when it comes to answering questions 1 to 4 of section A in language paper 2 in under 3 minutes. So, starting.
This is my simplest approach. Do not stress about the number of paragraphs. Think about the number of explanations. They have to match the number of marks in the question. In question 3, which is where I'm going to start, because it is only about 1 source, which means it's easy for me to get started. I don't have to read loads. There are 12 marks. I have to therefore write 12 explanations. Each explanation will start with something that means this suggests. Even if every explanation starts with this suggests, the examiners will go, I'm going to allow that. How will you have the methods? Well, they're just the language features that you always get: simile, metaphor, alliteration, sibilance, personification, yada yada, you know the stuff. Just make sure you make a note of that when you're saying a quote suggests something. Right, now I'm going to go to the big comparison question. Question 4, 16 marks. therefore 16 explanations. No paragraphs to worry about. Let's do it in two. The first paragraph will be all about source A. The second paragraph will be all about source B. When you write about source B, you will write, this is similar to what I wrote in source A, or this is different to source A. Each thing that you write, each suggestion will be about the writer's viewpoints. If it's not about the writer's viewpoints and feelings, you're not going to get the mark. How will you remember that? Underline the keywords in the question, use them in your answer. Now we get to question 2. Also a comparison question. It will not be about any feelings, it will be about facts. And then you'll have to understand something about facts. How will you show your understanding? You will say, this suggests. How many times? 8, because there are 8 marks. Then you go to the easy question, question 4, which everybody can do because the average mark in the country is 3.8 out of 4, even for the student who didn't turn up to the last 28 lessons. They're still going to get the grade. So you are sorted and I am out.
Okay, so that's 2 minutes, 7 seconds. Hopefully you guys can see this. So,
yes.
Up to you guys, whichever method you approach, okay? So for me, I always suggest to my GCSE masterclass students, work through the questions chronologically. If timing is an issue, then start with 4, 3, 2, and 1. However, your approach is 3, then 4, 2, and 1, okay? So guys, I hope that helps when it comes to understanding how to approach Section 8 in Language Paper 2.
Awesome.